Testing. Are we on? Oh, yeah. Mic sound is there. Am I here? Do we hear from anybody? Oh, my own Twitch is on. I have to turn that off. Advertising. It's advertising for a One Piece game.
Okay.
We're up. So, okay, you can't see the screen here. How should we do this? In fact, I should have done that better. So you can run the chat. Maybe I didn't think about that. If I turn this a bit, I'm going to turn this already. The stream might go down already because I'm going to turn the damn thing. I should have thought of that before I started. Can you lift up that cable so it goes over the, yeah. Yeah, there we are.
Okay.
Okay, but if you, that's better. Okay, can you reach the keyboard and get that stuff out of the way?
It's perfect. I just get this. Dave +1.
Yeah, there we are. Greetings from Mexico. Somebody else?
Yeah. This will be my little brother.
Oh, wait, what? Okay, can you reach the keyboard?
Yeah.
Okay, you can see the chat's going on?
Yeah.
I got a bit of work to do here. I'll start doing this. My work is visible. You're there. Introduce yourself to the people who don't know who you are. Or by where you can speak. I can hear you.
Yeah.
So if you don't have to type things, you can speak things.
Yeah.
So,
Hello everyone. I made it. Yeah.
he tried to make it last week, and of course I screwed up. I'm really sorry for that.
No, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah, I know everybody says okay, but it's just polite. But wasn't really feeling well last night, a week ago.
Yeah.
Before the stream, I ended up sitting on the toilet for half the night. We don't need to go there. But when it got early in the morning, I thought, look, I'm no way going to be able to do this. So I tried to be a good boy. I tried to send you an email about 6 o'clock, and then I sent an email to Koringami to try and let people know what's going on. But I guess you came all the way up here, right?
Yeah, we were just
outside the shutter,
Yeah,
I'm sorry, I was sleeping upstairs there by then. So, was your hotel nearby here or along the way?
It's like 3-5 minutes walking.
Okay. So it's no disaster come across the country or something.
No, it's pretty close.
Right. But you got up early to come over here.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry, really sorry about that. I'm the kind of person that really doesn't want to be late and doesn't want to, I want to be at all the appointments properly, and I screwed up last week. So.
No, I hope to arrive early today, and I set my alarm and woke up at, what was it, 6:30, and I was, perfect, it was time, and the next second, I fell asleep again.
Okay, so it's your fault. Okay. But the bad thing about it is that it wasn't just you last week. It was another young lady. The young lady she's from not France, was she?
Yeah, from France.
And she had to go home next day or something.
Today,
so we missed.
Today she left.
Oh.
Yeah. We just part ways in the corner.
So she's been at Terry's place for a week?
Okay. 2 weeks. She spent 2 weeks over there.
Okay. There might be people watching here who don't know what we're talking about there. So can you tell them where you are and what you're doing?
Okay.
Tell everybody?
Yeah, of course. Well, I'm currently staying at Karuizawa in a school run by a teacher called Terry McKenna. And he runs this school called Australian Mokuhanga School.
In Japan.
In Japan, yes, of course. And I'm going to be staying here for a month, just learning and improving what I...
So are you staying at Terry's place?
Yeah, well, it's fun. The school building is actually a house. Mm-hmm. So there are 2 bedrooms meant to the students. I'm staying at one of them.
Oh, so he lives in a separate place then?
Yeah, he lives in a separate...
Like next door or part of town?
No, he lives around 5 kilometers away.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So his house is one place and the school business is a separate place?
Yeah.
So he commutes, he comes over what, by bicycle or something?
Yeah, he commutes in bicycle every day.
But you stay at the school?
Yeah.
So you're there 24 hours a day? So you do working and stuff anytime you want? Or?
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah, I pretty much wake up super early and go to the carving studio and start carving.
Sounds like me.
Yeah. I've been having so much fun at that place.
What do you do for food stuff like?
Oh, I go to the convenience.
Oh, it's nearby. So
Yeah.
is this in town, in a built-up area?
Yeah,
or-
it's pretty close to Karuizawa Station. So there are a bunch of convenience stores pretty close, like 3 minutes. And
Well, there's restaurants, bakeries, everything in Karuizawa.
Yeah.
So.
But everything is so expensive.
Yeah, it's it was a besso town, right? I know rich people in Tokyo would have a second house out in Karuizawa.
Yeah, yeah. So it still has that that style. So a lot of restaurants are quite expensive. But other than that, everything is quite convenient there, except the cold. It's still snowing.
Well, that's what you get with Karuizawa. It's colder than Tokyo in the winter, but it's much cooler in the summer. So people go there in the summertime. That's what started the town. The
Yeah.
place to escape from the Tokyo heat during
Yeah.
the summertime.
Yes. And I've been being super lucky. On Saturdays, well, last Saturday and yesterday, and next week also, I've been attending the Yoshida studio.
Oh, down here in Tokyo with Numabu-san.
Yes.
So, okay. But they're not still running the academy. That's all closed,
No,
right?
but I'm pretty much getting printing lessons.
Privately from Numabu-san.
Yeah.
So. And what he means is the Yoshida studio, the place where the Yoshida family, has lived for many, many years. All the blocks for Toshi's prints are still there.
Yeah.
And Numabu-san, who works for us as a printer also, is over there printing the Yoshida stuff. What's he working on this week? What one? I don't know.
Oh, well, he was I don't know the name, but it's this picture of a bridge with two women.
Yeah. It's the Hasui design, the Shiba Park, all the lotus plants
Oh,
around.
yeah, that one.
We get a waiting list for that one. Lots of
it's
people are waiting.
amazing.
So, but
It's
that's not a
beautiful.
Yoshida print. That's a Hasui print.
Yeah.
So.
He's printing that one. And another design, I don't know who did it, but it's like a Western design. So the key block is done in metal,
Yeah.
and all the lines are thin and
Well, most of the Yoshida prints, the key blocks are metal.
Oh.
Nearly all the Yoshida prints are done that way. You should check the chat now and then, because if something's wrong, the microphone's turned off, they're yelling at us, or they're asking questions, or whatever. So you're the chat master here today. So
okay.
I can't see it from where I'm sitting.
Oh, they are asking about my print. This one, the build lady that I brought, the one I did at Terry's place.
The veiled lady.
Yeah.
Yeah. Has somebody put a link to it so everybody else can see it? We don't know.
No, there's no.
Where's the best place to see it? On the Acolytes page, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, if somebody pops a link to the Acolytes page, Camillo posted it there.
Yeah,
Right?
they posted it in the accolades page. Well, it's now ready. I finished it. I did my test prints, and after that I decided to add some other bokashi in the hat and some details of the veil that hadn't been shaded yet. Oh, there it is.
Somebody got it? Okay, good.
Yeah, there's the link. But that one is ready.
But that was carved and printed here in Japan, right? Not
Yes,
before you came. Yeah.
everything was done in Terry's school.
I think I was surprised. Like you went up there, what day it was, and then the next day you're posting on Acolytes page where the carving is all finished and something like. What are you
Yeah.
guys doing? Working 24 hours a day up there? Or?
Yeah, it was like super fast. And I mean, I wasn't trying to be fast, must to be careful and precise, but I'm used to working with harder wood. So in the Shina, everything gets carved quite fast.
I'm not ignoring it, so I just got to get this sorted out.
No, it's okay.
Is this visible here? If I can zoom in just for a sec.
Yeah, maybe just
Just a sec. Is that visible now?
No. Oh, yeah. There it is.
So it's a hori carving Nagao. This is Yumi Nagao, who was there. There's 3 carvers working here now, myself, John-san, and Yumi-san. 4 carvers, Kawasaki-san. She's like number 4, whatever, we don't have a ranking, whatever. And then printing, Suri, this is Kubota, Kenichi. So Kubota-san is back working for us for a while. He's been off doing his own projects. We're glad to have Kubota-san back for a while right now. And you can see what he's done is another batch of Jed's design that he calls the Dragon's Gift. We've had it back in stock. And Kubota-san, when he saw the blocks for this, would have been groaning, oh, not again this one. Because the levels and levels and levels of gray. It's a cool, cool thing in the finished print, but for a printer, it's, oh my God, to get them all right. It's difficult, because when you put the first one on, it's a light gray at the back, and you don't know where you're going. So almost always when a job like this starts, you put the first lighter one in place, and it looks quite dark. But it doesn't turn out to be that dark, because it ends up being surrounded by darker things, which makes it look lighter. So it's really difficult to gauge where you are at the beginning of the process. And I have no idea, I don't even remember the blocks for this, how many layers we've got in blues and grays and purples and greens. So. But here it is, it came back last night, and I've got to get them stamped, because there's people waiting for these. Jed's waiting for it, and a bunch of other people are waiting for them. So I got to get this up and running today. So I'm out of work here for the next, you take care of your conversation and talk and whatever, and I'll listen and talk as I can. So.
Okay. I'm also with Numabe-san. He is letting me print some great waves.
Oh, on the blocks they've got in their workshop there?
Yeah.
So you printed your own great wave with real blocks. You didn't bring it with you today?
No, everything is still at the studio.
Soka, of course.
I've only, so far I've printed just the key block, the gray bokashi.
The first one, the light,
bokashi, yeah. And another blue block for the wave.
Great wave, Camillo version.
Yeah. So I had some trouble with the Kento.
Yeah, because they're all smashed up, right? They're moved, you got the little white paste in there, yeah.
It has the tiniest bit of wood.
Yep.
Just
it's called a kuiki, a little shim. So this is the thing, people that have only ever used new blocks, they're always surprised when they start to use old blocks, especially natural wood blocks that shrink and swell. I mean, I don't know what blocks that he's got, but it's probably decades old from somebody he's got. So the blocks are shrinking and swelling all the time.
Yeah, so I was trying to get the paper in the corner. And it was, okay, here it is. I printed, and everything was out of place. So next print was like checking the Kento, and I found this. It was more like a, how do you say, a splinter wood, just a tiny piece of wood, almost invisible, but you could hook the paper in there.
Yeah, that's the idea.
So. And there it was.
One of the biggest differences between people who are doing this as amateurs or with a small number of colors on new blocks and professionals working with many, many prints on old blocks, we don't make big registration marks. As small as you can make them.
Yeah.
So like you can barely, almost invisible, tiny little shim of wood stuck in there. That's all you need to locate the paper. If it's too big, you can't move it around backwards or forwards. You know.
Yeah. Okay. And I've already, at Terry's place, I've already finished a second design. It's halfway printing, but I have to leave to Tokyo to meet with Numabe-san. And I already started carving another one. So far, three designs.
When are you going home?
March 30.
So you got about a couple weeks left.
Yeah, I still have 2 weeks to work.
Are you watching this? What's going on?
Yeah, here they are asking you do you have any favorite print?
I, people ask these questions. What's my favorite food? What's my favorite shirt? What's my favorite print? I don't do that. I don't have stuff like that. I know. We sort of chat about it before. The professional printmaker, his job is just to make prints based on whatever blocks are on your desk at the time, and I'm trying to honor that feeling. You know, the easy, quick, glib answer is the favorite print. It's the one on my desk right now because that's the one that gets your attention. So no, I really don't have much of a. I don't think about that kind of thing very much. Life just goes by too fast. Just you've got to get going on what you're doing at the moment. Kubota-san must have had quite a bit of trouble with this one, you know, because you can see on the back the sizing. I thought the sizing was okay on this, but it's quite speckled, and he must have wrestled with this quite a bit. And I'm not sure why there's been trouble with this. The other printers had no trouble with the paper, and I did this exactly the same way. But there's clearly been a problem with it. Part of the paper is resistant to the pigment going in, and part of it is not. And he would have been yelling at me when he did this. No, really, really. When the sizing is smooth and easy to use, it's wonderful. And when the sizing is tough, he's a professional. He's managed to print good, nice, smooth color. But he would have been cursing me. And I'm not sure what's happened here, because recently the sizing has been really quite well done. And all the other printers are not having trouble with it at all. But this batch, it looks like it's all the way through. We've got the same speckled pattern. I'm not quite sure what would have happened here. Anyway, try it again.
Well, he did manage to pull some great colors.
Yeah, but it's not. If that same batch of paper had gone to our printers upstairs, they wouldn't have known what to do with it. They wouldn't know how to handle this. And it's all over. It's all the colors: the orange, the green, the grey. Sometimes it's just the grey that gets speckled because it's really difficult. But here, all the colors are speckled on the back. Huh? On the front, it looks fine.
Koringami says, Dave, you are not a professional chef, though you are allowed to have a favorite food.
Yeah, I guess. Okay, whatever. I'm not sure why I'm so resistant to that type of question. You know, I just, I don't know. I'm stumbling for an answer here. I just don't think that way. I don't think that way. You know, I think part of it is being a pragmatic, easygoing person. Just whatever is happening today in my life, let's accept that and enjoy that. Whatever's happening in your life today. And as a result of that, it's that sort of, yeah, I'm okay with whatever's happening. If it's cold outside, I'll be cold. I'll enjoy the weather today. If that's the food that's in front of me today, yeah, whatever, let's just eat it and get going. So it's kind of a resistance to saying, I want things to be like this. You know, I don't want things to be like this. But yeah, when it comes to printmaking, I'm really picky. I want the paper and this and that to be like that. You know, so maybe I'm being inconsistent. You know, I don't know. But in my own personal life, yeah, I don't care. Just I don't care. Not sure how to express it.
And I think we got the idea.
Is Terry watching today? Your teacher? Have you talked to Terry about the Terry McKenna I'm talking about?
I told him, but I don't know if he
might not be interested. Yeah, I don't know. So you've been coming into Tokyo every couple of days? What's
no,
from
I'm just coming only in weekends.
I see. So Mabi-san's working up there. He's so busy. He's working all through the weekend, is he?
Yeah.
On Sunday too?
Yeah. Sunday he is. There's only me and another girl in the studio.
Mabi-san's got his church group stuff on Sundays, right?
I don't really
it's not
know.
a church, it's a religious group he goes to.
Yeah, he already invited me to join him.
Yes, of course. He invites everybody to, and that's a bit of a cult he's a member of, you know. It's the Soka Gakkai. And he's very... All of us who meet him the first time have to go through that. You know, he tries to get them to join his cult, you know. Whatever, it's not such a laughing matter, you know.
No.
He worked for us for a while here, and he was bugging all the employees to do that, and I had to be really strict with him. Don't talk about that stuff when you're in this building. Forget it. Otherwise, you're not welcome here. Because he's really trying to get more people to join his cult, you know.
Yeah.
So he stopped talking about it to us, you know. But as soon as I heard you were going over there, he's going to get Camillo. Here's the hooks. Come and join her. You know. And he probably told you it's an international group. You can join here and be a member back in Mexico. You know. Whatever. I shouldn't talk about it. That's the only downside to Namabisa. He's a super fine printer, but he's hooked into a cult. You know, so.
Yeah. My teacher in Mexico, he studied with him at the Yoshida Academy. And even before I came, he told me, like, if you meet this printer, he is going to try to get you.
Yeah, absolutely. So. Overseas, it's called SGI, Soka Gakkai International.
Okay.
They have a pretense that they're an organization for world peace.
Yeah.
I guess they are, whatever. Who can argue about world peace? But it's a cult.
British Bad Boy asks, what is something you really enjoy doing recently?
Talking to you or talking to me?
I don't know. Maybe I'll answer. Carving.
I mean, we're both going to answer the same way. We're busy making prints, having fun. What can I say? What kind of question is that?
Oh, and yeah, the Jazz Prophet says, could be worse, I suppose. At least it's not Om Shinrikyo. Yeah.
No, I guess not. They don't drop poisons on the subway, but whatever. I shouldn't talk about it.
Yeah, but nasty stuff. But yeah, so far it's been a great experience.
No, I guess so. Imagine coming from a place where you are, where there's nobody doing this, you know.
Yeah,
You must already be the most experienced woodblock printmaker, Japanese style, in Mexico. Really, you know, really. I've never heard of anybody out there doing it except you.
Well, there's still my teacher. He usually lives in Sweden, but right now he came to Mexico and still is in Mexico. So
there's a bunch of people in Brazil doing it. There's a group in Sao Paulo, you know, and Fernando and other people like that have been over to Japan doing it.
yeah.
So we hear about Brazilians doing this, but I haven't heard so much about people from Mexico. So what's the goal when you go back? You want to be an independent printmaker, work for a school or something? Or what's the deal? What's the idea?
Well, I'm always aiming to find a way to stay here in Tokyo. But if I am to go back, I will keep carving and printing and doing my best to find a way to make this my...
I know the young man from Brazil, Fernando-san, he's been here at Keida University for a couple of years. His goal is to go back and actually get a job in a college or something. You know, be a professor, printmaking professor or something. And he thinks that with enough experience in Japan, he'll be able to go back there and use that experience in Japan to make it sound like he's a real guru. And he said he'd get a job back there, you know? Especially if he's got a university degree from Japan here. So that was his business plan, his model for life. I was a bit disappointed to hear that. He might be listening. He listens to this sometime. He and I chatted about this. I was disappointed to hear that his goal is to become a professor. Get a job, get the money, get a professor, get the tenure, then you're okay. Yeah. Rather than make prints. The number one goal wasn't to make prints. The number one goal was to get a safe job. Yeah. Something related to printmaking, you know. So we were joking about this and laughing about it all the time, you know.
Sometime before I came here, I took part in a cultural festival about Japan in Mexico that took place because of I don't remember how many years of diplomatic friendship between both countries. And I was allowed to set up a demonstration of woodblock printmaking. And it was pretty nice. Other than a whole lot of people attending and being really interested, people from the Japanese, how do you pronounce it? Lyceum?
It's a French word, sure, not Japanese. What do you mean? A Japanese school over there, you mean? What do you mean?
Yes, it's a Japanese school in Mexico. They asked me if I would be willing to give classes for just some time, not like a fixed job. Also, people from
Testing, testing. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? We got a mic signal there?
Yeah.
Seems so. Well, I've switched the mics then. We lost power in our Zoom. I charged it just before the stream started, but power is gone.
Sound is okay.
No idea. So I just plugged back in the little microphone right here that we've been using before. No idea.
Anyway.
We apologize for the technical problems. So, I thought you were reliable. Anyway, sounds like we're okay, are we?
Yes, everyone says we're in business.
Good. I think my mother tried to Skype to let me know about this, so I don't know, the Skype didn't connect it either, so, but it seems like we're up and running. Good. Has the mic been off for a half an hour or something, or?
No, it seems like it went off.
Somewhat, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Now it's worse. What's happening?
It started popping, it seems.
Oh, I see. Okay, you gotta watch her. When you're on duty here, you gotta watch that stream. Say, this is your responsibility.
4 minutes. Oh.
It was click, click, no idea. I guess what happened was it must have just run out of power. Or it started to run out of power, so gradually the audio got worse and worse and worse, and then it just died. I charged it just before we started. Okay, anyway. Don't muck with it now, Dave. Fix it later. Sorry, gang. Thanks for hanging in there. Part of the problem now is that there's too much gear. We've grown and grown and grown. It was first just a laptop. Audio, yeah.
Audio,
So. And now, just even for example, for that camera over there, there's 5 cables. There's the power cable, an extension power cable, the HDMI, an extension HDMI, switching to USB into the computer.
Yeah.
This one has 1, 2, 3, 4 cables. The microphone had 1 key. Just too many cables, too many devices, too much power. It's like running a broadcast studio, TV broadcast studio, and this is just supposed to be a printer's covers workbench. So I'm not sure about this. It's grown to the point now where I'm trying to do too much with the time and resources available. And it's going to be difficult to keep this together. You know.
They say, Koringami says, Camillo is another Cameron after all, another Cam.
Yeah, because
They are all energy sinks.
Or it turns out that it's me. I'm the jinx factor because I'm here all the time. So I don't know. Anyway, apologies about that. Whatever. Here we are. It sounds like we're okay. I don't know. I don't know. Oh no, Andrew. I don't know if you saw yesterday's stream, Sizing Stream. Andrew Stone was here from Italy. He dropped in.
Oh no, at that time I was on my way to the studio.
Okay, at the Bobby Sands place. Yeah.
Yeah, so I couldn't watch.
What I was saying, Andrew was here just before we started the stream, and I had moved all this stuff upstairs. So all these cables and cameras and plugs have to be set up again. It's like an hour's work up there, more than an hour's work to set it up whenever I move. And this morning I had to bring the whole thing back down. So he saw this and he's like, Dave, you need a tech department
Yes.
to run this. You know, I come in here at 7:59, I sit down, the tech department turns it on, I say, good afternoon, Woodblock Print Media Day, well, let's get to work, you know. But I don't have a tech department, I'm the tech department, which is why it's so chaotic, you know. So I don't know, I've let this thing grow a little bit too much, and it's grown piece by piece, patchily, and I don't know. Now, one lucky thing, this Twitch channel, it hasn't exploded, and we don't have 100,000 viewers a day like some of the famous gamers do. You know, we've got a couple of dozen regular people who watch, so when we have an issue, it's not the end of the world, you know. But yeah, tech department to run this for me, that would be so cool, you know. No, really, I mean, you laugh. I could get my video concepts ready. We're going to do a YouTube video next Friday afternoon. The tech guys would get everything ready for me, the props and all that kind of stuff, and I just come in and practice my part and do it well.
Yeah.
If we had that situation, we could do a couple of YouTube videos a week, you know, or at least like a regularly weekly schedule or something.
Oh, that would be so nice.
It would. I would love to do that, but it's just not possible.
Everyone is joking about how you can handle all this technology perfectly fine, and most childs nowadays just only know how to barely operate a computer and play video games.
Well, yeah, I can't accept doing it perfectly is not what's happening here. You know, we're clumsily stumbling through this. You know, so. But yeah, I get it. Not too many people my age can do all the stuff that we do here. I understand. I mean, this is cool. It's just too much fun, you know.
Yes.
It's just too much fun. When Cameron was here on Friday, we were looking at the show and tell stuff. We opened that roll here. This roll sitting.
Oh, okay.
It's a set of 12 prints stuck on a piece of paper, and it's really, really fun. It's major woodblock prints.
Yes.
That have become a game. You know, and we can make a great video about that, relating to the old games, 1895, to the games we're playing now, and it can be a real nice David's Choice video. But I just so much time to get it organized and it could be really, really fun.
Yes, sounds like it. Sounds like a fine idea, but I was viewing your video about Ito Susumu yesterday.
You and a million other people, yeah.
Yeah.
Had you never seen it before?
Yeah, a couple of times, but it's really a nice video.
I have really mixed feelings about that one. Everybody in the world seems to be loving it. It's getting huge views and everybody likes it. But it wasn't a well-planned video. There's no script. I had just received that woodblock from his daughter a couple of days before. I thought, wow, I got to tell people about this. Mm-hmm. So I sat at my bench. I got the woodblock. And, oh, yeah, tapes. I could tell them about the tapes. I got the videotapes. And I got 2 or 3 other things ready that were part of the story. And then I thought, how would I tell this story? And there was no teleprompter, there's no stuff. And I made a little PDF file, a little text file first. Let's talk about this. And then next point, let's talk about that. So I made a bunch of like points, about 20 points, and put it in a PDF file, printed it on A3 paper, large, so I could sort of read it, and chopped them up, put them in order what I would like. And I put them on the opposite wall. This was when I was upstairs in the back room upstairs. So my bench was here, the opposite wall's there with these pieces of paper, like a big red number 1, big red number 2, big red number 3. I stuck them up on the wall, not all in the same place, but I made a mistake. I put them all in different places all over the wall. And then the camera was over at one point, so I said, okay, let's do this, Dave. Started, number 1, and I looked around, what am I going to talk about like this? And I'm trying to find number 1, there's number 1. And I started talking about this. And then just tell the story naturally, blah, 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 blah. And here's the little prop I needed. There's the knife in my pocket and stuff like this. And what do I talk about next? And I'm looking around. What do I do next? And I'm frantically thinking, what's coming next? What's coming next? And I'm trying to look like just looking off into space.
Yeah.
And I skipped a couple. Like I don't remember what they were. I missed number 5 because I couldn't find it. I found number 6, so just skipped ahead to point number 6 in the story, you know. And then it turned out that the Canon camera I'm using, even though I have a huge memory card, it won't record more than 30 minutes of video on one. And it'll record multiple files. So it goes 4 gigabytes, 4 gigabytes, 4 gigabytes, but only up to 29 minutes and 29 seconds, and then shuts off. Beep. So I'm talking in the middle of the story. Beep. And the camera stopped. So whatever, take a look at it, figure out where it was, and roll back my memory to the script, sit down, start again. So it's because it would look like one take. Yeah. It actually really was one take, except for a beep in the middle where the file. So I had to splice the file together. Well, I guess the point of what I'm trying to say is I can't do that again. It was just a day lightning struck, and it was a natural thing that happened. I got lots of other stories really similar to that. In fact, there's one that's almost a clone of that story. Shimano-san, the guy who was dressing the wood blocks, he wasn't resistant at first. He let me in, but we looked and looked and looked, and I enjoyed time with him. And he asked me out for drinking and stuff like that. Then I'm just finishing the poet series. I'm doing print number 99. Where's the block for number 100? It doesn't come. It's a bit of a dramatic thing. Turns out the guy's got cancer. He's dying. The block never comes. I get another block somewhere else. He dies. I go to the funeral. His wife and I sit and talk, and she gives me a present of something, and it's the same story all over again. You know? And if I do that, people think, "Oh, come on, Dave. Is that the limit of your imagination? Can't you find another story?" You know. But I'm scared of trying it again because, you know, it's something called the second system effect. It's a big deal in the world of programming, and it's bit me on the bum a number of times. You do something the first time, and it actually comes out quite well because you're thinking and planning and carefully and doing it whatever, partly natural. But when you try and do it again, you either plan too much, or you think too much, or you're too self-conscious, and it just can't happen a second time. You know? So I don't know. It would terrify me now to sit down and try and tell a half-an-hour story with no script, you know.
Yes.
But when I did it the first time, it was because I didn't know. I thought it was going to be about 5 minutes long. I thought 5, 6, 7 minutes, whatever, just to sit down and try and start to tell a story.
Well, it came out.
I guess so.
Amazing.
I guess so. I haven't seen it recently, but a while ago when the YouTube views were climbing, I'm thinking, what are people seeing in this? So I clicked on it in my own file here and started. And 30 minutes later, I've watched the whole thing. And I hear this in YouTube comments all the time. I started this and I wasn't going to watch this. And then all of a sudden I realized 28 minutes have passed and I've watched the whole thing. I hear this all the time. And the same damn thing happened to me. Yeah. So I don't go near it anymore. I can't watch that. Really. There's lots more stories, you know, lots more.
It would be nice to hear them.
Yeah. If I live long enough, I guess I don't know. Also, too, perhaps I'm thinking about too much and trying too much. You know, I did that first one, really, as I said, in one take, and it came out smoothly and naturally. And my pride says you have to do it again. The next one you do about Shimano-san, it's got to be one take, got to be perfect, got to get 1 million viewers and all that stuff. And of course, it's this, what's that phrase they say, the perfect is the enemy of the good. Because I'm thinking about trying to do this perfectly, nothing is getting done at all.
Yes.
So I should maybe approach it differently. If I want to tell a story about Shimano-san, okay, Dave, you want to do it. Actually, sort of make a bit more of a careful script. Plan it a bit more carefully. Maybe make an actual script. Practice it, practice it, practice it. Get your props ready. And get some help with the video. Get Cameron or somebody over there so you don't have to think about that stuff. And then spend a day doing it. And do take 1, do take 2, do take 3. Actually do it. And it would be okay. It wouldn't be as 100% perfectly natural as that first one was, but it would be an interesting guy telling an interesting story.
Yeah.
So it's this fear of, I want to do it perfectly better than I did it before. And because of that desire, I'm getting nothing done. Nothing is happening. Well, really, it's a thing that gets you. And I should just try and forget the naturalness, try and construct it. And I could do that. I could do that pretty carefully.
Lazy Panda screams, I want more stories. I don't know how to pronounce this. It's like Piotr Stroganov. Your beginning's story is just as wonderful. Aroma says, but Dave, you do 90 minutes every day of just as engaging quality.
Oh, I don't think so, but whatever. I don't think so.
Curiosity 117 says, these stories need to be told. And Koringami says you need a Dave's Kotatsu Tale series. That would be nice.
Well, a couple of things I forget. There's still, I don't. The story week I used to do, really, I would like to be doing that again because my life now has so much stuff going on. There's so many stories. And I don't mean like 2-hour stories, but just episode type stories that could be told. So I'd love to be doing a story week, yeah. And I'd love to get more of the beginnings number 3 but I'm swamped again. I hate to say this, it makes me sound so pretentious, you know. I'm too busy to do that stuff. But it's just become chaos. You know, we posted the sales graph a while ago here, and the business has exploded, and it's still exploding, and every day it's getting worse, getting better, getting worse. You know, so one of the staff, one of the young ladies who works here, she and I went for dinner last night. Just whatever on the way home, she went for dinner. Nothing. I mean, she wanted to talk to me about, Dave, what's the managing thing going on? You know, it's a lady who, when I hired her here, I'd hoped she might become sort of a person who could do managing here. It turned out it didn't work that way because she has a real job in a real big company and, you know, all that stuff. And I can't offer her any kind of compensation that would match that. Anyway, but we were talking about this, you know, I was trying to pick her brains a little bit because she works in a large corporation. I was trying to pick her brains a bit about how to organize the management here more professionally. Because it's a classic situation now, someone like me. I should be doing different jobs than the managing. I should be doing carving and storytelling and YouTube. Obviously, clearly that would be more valuable to our organization than the frustrated firefighting that I'm doing every day. And we're in this vicious cycle that I don't know how to break. You know. We tried 2 years ago to do it. We opened a Patreon campaign to bring in some cash to hire a person to help me. And it worked really, really well. This is Cameron, you've seen him. And he's busy every day that he's here doing those jobs that I used to do. So that thing has worked perfectly. But what we didn't foresee, and it's from 2 things, what we didn't foresee was that once that workload was taken away from me, boom, it expanded. What was left expanded to fill the time just as much. And that's partly because of, there's that phrase, work expands to fill the time available, which happens in any organization. And the other thing is, there's a ton more work coming in because of the success of our business. So do we do it again? I mean, Patreon's still working. The money does come from Patreon, and it does go onto Cameron's salary straight away. we do it again. It doesn't make any sense. You can't keep asking people for money because the same's going to happen again. So I don't know what to do. I'm sort of just waiting for the day when someone's going to come in the door and I'll say hello, and they will be the person that can take this thing away from me in terms of running the place, And then I can become an employee, and my job is defined as Dave do this, and do those things well and spend the time on it. And I'm just sort of dreaming and waiting for this person to walk in the door. And probably even at the end of the stream, people will write an email, Dave, I can come over and help you. That kind of offer doesn't help me because a foreigner coming in here without speaking Japanese with no visa, it doesn't matter if you're the world's best manager in the world, it doesn't functionally work for us, So I'm sorry, come back to the same conversation. I don't know what to do. And now we're near the end of March. And oh my God, next week and April and May. And we're short-staffed. 3 of our best print party people in the last few months have left us. Rei-chan, the young girl, she was spending too much time here. Her parents said, look, girl, get back to your studies. So fair enough, no argument. She had to get back to her homework because she liked this place so much. She was doing such a good job in the print parties. But when you're 17 years old and a high school student, there's other priorities. Yeah. So she left. And then Koizumi-kun, the boy, who had been training here for 9 or 10 months and became really quite good at doing the print parties, he got an offer he couldn't refuse from a company in the anime world of a full-time salary doing the work, so he had to take it. I couldn't match the salary, and I couldn't match the interest. He wanted to be involved in a company that's making anime and stuff, and whatever, for him that beat out making work prints and doing print parties. So we lost that. And then Rui-chan, who had been training with us to do print parties, and she wasn't the first-line print party host yet. She was the person who could support the main party host. She got an offer of a full-time job somewhere else. And again, I couldn't match it, and away we went. So I've lost 3 people to do print parties in the past couple of months at the worst possible time of year. And all the staff now is looking at me, Dave, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Because they're all worried about 2 things. One, that we won't have enough people to do this in the next few weeks, which we don't. And they know what's going to happen. They know that I'm going to do it all. I'm going to do 5 print parties a day for the next 6 weeks. And they're worried about me killing myself. I don't mean killing myself this way, but I mean, getting sick or something, or just working too hard or whatever. And they are really worried about that. Really worried about that. So I'm at the moment, I feel like I'm in a tunnel there. There's that thing at the end, and there's some light. Oh, wait, that's not light. That's the headlight of the train, the standard old classic joke, Yeah. So right now, starting to think about making the next Shimano-san video. That's really not going to happen in the next couple of weeks.
Lazy Panda says, I am studying Japanese. In 20 years I will arrive, don't worry.
I'll hold on.
Here, CPI Spider asks about carving. He says he's trying with cherry wood he got locally and can't get clean lines. Everything seems to splinter and crumble.
Do you have some advice on this, sir? Because you're doing exactly the same thing, right? You tried with hardwood back in Mexico, Shina plywood here, and now cherry again.
Yeah, well...
what does Terry say about this to you?
Sorry?
But Terry must have ideas about this for you.
Yeah, well, it may be the tool, your carving tool is not, it's not sharp enough. Or maybe, I don't know, maybe the wood is not right. Maybe too soft. I've used American cherry and it worked fine for me. Not super thin lines, it couldn't stand super thin lines, for example. But
Anytime, any of these wood, whether it's Sheena plywood or basswood or linden or whatever you're using, or cherry, whatever, if you're having trouble with lines breaking and things crumbling and things are not working as well as they should, number one thing to remember, absolutely number one thing to remember, is the knife you're using, any knife, whatever knife you're using, is a piece of metal and it has actual thickness. Mm-hmm. If we've got water, if we put the knife into water, the water moves out of the way and it's okay. You put the knife into a piece of wood, whatever it is, whether you carve just a tiny bit in or deeply or whatever, you put the knife in, somehow the wood has to make room for that piece of steel that has gone down inside it. Mm-hmm. And there's only one way to happen. The wood on each side of the blade spreads out. You are stressing the wood, you are damaging it. So for us, as a professional carver, the number one thing that you must never forget, if we've got a line here, that's the line we want to leave at the end of the day. This is a flat piece of wood, eh? But there's the line we want to leave, this clear space, that's the wood to throw away. That stress caused by the knife going into the wood, the stress must always come in this area and never in the area you leave behind. Imagine if instead of a knife, suppose we had some laser vaporization or something, and you're going to shoot the laser vaporizer, and it's going to shoot this area and take it away and make nothing, and shoot this area and take it away. And this wood then would just be sitting left alone. The surrounding wood is gone, and that leftover wood is now in perfectly good, nice, hard, original condition. Mm-hmm. That's the goal. So when you put the knife in for the very first stroke, there's a flat side on the knife, there's a beveled side on the knife. So right away, already, the knife is going to put more stress on the wood on the beveled side and less on the flat side. Mm-hmm. It's not 100, it's like 10 and 90 or 20, 80 or something like this. And then it's your job as the carver to change that 20, 80, to change it to 0, 100. As I put the knife in here, I am holding it and you can see what's happening right now, even with this piece of silly cardboard. Can you see what's happening, Camillo-san? The cardboard is bending up. Can you come around and see it from here? Should I zoom in? This is not even wood, this is cardboard. It doesn't even make any difference. I put the knife in at an angle. The flat side, where am I? So let me find the place.
Just a little.
Where am I? Somewhere around here? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to put the knife into this wood, cardboard, and I'm cutting. And do you see what's happening? Is it visible? The cardboard here is bending up and flying away, and the cardboard here isn't moving at all. Mm-hmm. So all the stress, 100% of the stress almost, is going on the outside area. Then the other tools, later on, the clearing tools, or this knife or whatever, we get rid of this stuff. It's been stressed, doesn't matter, we're going to throw it away. And the leftover wood here on this line now is smooth and clean, and this wood has not been stressed. In one simple 1 minute little lecture, that's the key to this whole thing. You must remember that with every single cut you make. Flat side on the line, angle it and cut in a way that the stress goes outside. Now if you have some, let's try and do this maybe there's some hair or something. So we're going to leave this wood. Okay, and the light colored part's going to take away. Now this is really thin. Now, if this one I did here, this had, am I visible?
Just a little to your right.
Which way?
To your right.
To my right, and then up.
Up. There it is.
Okay, of course. Sorry. This wood, when I made this cut, because this was fairly thick, the face had backing. There's solid wood all the way through here, and this piece of wood is backed very carefully. But imagine now that we've cut this, and for example, say this piece is already gone. We've worked away, this is gone, now I'm cutting this. So if I'm cutting down here the same way that I did that a moment ago, I'm now cutting here, but that black hair now, there's nothing behind it.
Yeah.
Now that's really dangerous, because if I come here now, even though I said 0 stress, 100% stress, we can't get that far. it'll be 595 or 1090 or something. So there will be some stress on the tip. And if there's nothing behind it, it can break. So we would never go this way up this row of hairs. We would go this way. I carve this one first, take away the waste. Carve this one first, and this one next. And this is solid wood behind it. And then take this area away. Then do it here. So we would always go down the line in a way that makes sure the wood has backing behind it. But if I was going this way, I'm going to break that for sure because there's nothing behind it.
Yeah.
But it's all the same rule. The wood must be supported as much as possible, and the stress must go in the area that will be taken away. And if it's cherry or anything else I have no experience with, maybe lino cut's the same, I have no idea. That's the number one and basically only rule about carving.
Yeah.
$10, please.
Oh, Lazy Panda asks if I'm from Mexico and if I do know Spanish. Claro que es español. Es mi lengua nativa. Hunterman says, one thing I still have trouble with is trying to adjust the traditional dagger grip for Dave uses, rather than my preferred pencil grip. I wonder what I am missing out on, as it feels harder to control when I do the Japanese way.
There's three grips to talk about. Now, he's talking about, is my hand visible? I guess he's talking about dagger grip. Is that what this is you're sticking? The modern way, dagger grip under your nose, carving straight towards you. There's the pencil grip like this, of course, holding it like a pencil, cutting towards you. Neither of those are the normal way to do it. A traditional carver will hold the knife like in that dagger, but not this way, will carve over the back side of his hand. Now, I cannot do it this way, but this is absolutely, undeniably, undisputably the best way to do traditional carving, if you're going to be doing stuff that has any fine lines and things. And so it's not the place. It's a half-hour discussion to get into. This isn't really the place, but it's the same thing. When you've got those lines, I'm pretending I'm a right-handed person here. I'm not, but I'm pretending for the moment I'm a right-handed person with a right-handed knife. You carve the way we just described, with the flat side of the knife on the line and the stress going into the waist area. And you can now see the line under your nose. You can see the future where you're going. And also it gives you lots of flexibility. You've got almost 180 degrees, even more. You can go from this part of a curve right round to this part of a curve without changing your highs and adds, without rotating the block.
Yes.
This is the way to go. If I were 20 years old now, this is what I would start to do. I didn't know about this when I learned when I was in Canada, and in my early years here, I ended up with a right-handed knife, a left-handed person, knowing nothing about the over the hand. I learned with the dagger grip here. And the result is almost the same. Right-handed person here holding it, squeeze in your left hand here. It seems to be the same. The downside is you've lost your view of the future because your hand's in the way, and you can now no longer go all the way back out here because that's not the way your left hand wrist goes. So this is a poor man's student version of the right way to do it, and it's the way I ended up doing it. And it's a bit unfortunate because I'm on YouTube all over the place. I'm the world's leading authority, blah, 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 and I'm doing it the wrong way. Can't be helped, whatever. On our list of videos to make, I'm going to get Asuka Sensei, a good friend of mine, a traditional carver, and we're going to do a video side by side with split screens and stuff and show how this really should be done. Yeah, one day, when, whatever. He's busier than I am. Anyway, whatever, long story short, it's the same thing we just talked about a few minutes ago. Do what you can to keep the flat side of the blade on the knife. Traditional way would be the best way. Dagger grip under your nose will be second best, and pencil grip, you now have no way to flex at all. You've just got to turn this and rotate the block and turn this and rotate and turn this and rotate. It can get the job done, but it's going to be a long, slow process.
Yeah. And I feel like the pencil grip only works on very soft wood.
Maybe, I don't know, I never use it, so I don't know. I have no
it's,
idea. You'll see, when I'm doing that calligraphy under the microscope, because it's such a delicate, tiny place, I'll maybe do dagger. Then one thing I can't quite get my hand around, so I'll switch to pencil, pop it out, and away we go and switch back. So I can't say I never use it, but only for the tiniest little pop, pop, pop here and there, rather than try and make, I would never make a line with a pencil, my God. It needs a full video talking about this. Dave Bold talks about the classical carving method. Blah, 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 blah. When are we going to get that done? I don't know.
I started with
Are you right-handed?
I am right-handed, and I started with the dagger
Under your nose?
under my nose
With a right-handed blade.
with a right-handed blade.
So it's wrong. So you've got the bevel on the line. It's a
Yeah.
disaster. Recipe for disaster.
Yeah. So since I went to the only place in Mexico that has a workshop on mokuhanga, my teacher, he's the one that studied here in the Yoshida Academy. He was the one who told me, well, your grip is wrong, do it.
Over the
This way.
hand, yeah. So.
And since then, I've been trying to change my grip. Every day I feel more comfortable, but
If I were you, you're young enough and you're a beginner at this. I mean, enough of a beginner still. Your experience is what, a couple of years or something so far?
yeah,
If I was going to be the guru here to tell you what to do, try and do it the traditional way. Get the right knife, do it the right way. Because you've got 80 years in front of you and 2 years behind you. That's okay. I've got 40 years behind me, and how many years in front of me, I don't know. And I'm 67. I can't flex like that anymore. So that's my excuse anyway. But if I'm not being sarcastic. If I were still at your stage, do it the traditional way. Because my God, the payoff will be fantastic.
yeah,
If you're the kind of person who wants to do fine lines and stuff. If it's just random color splashes, then it doesn't matter what you do.
no, I do like quite a lot the
Line work, yes.
The line work,
So then
that's
learn the
my
proper way.
favorite.
Absolutely learn the proper way.
So yeah, I'm trying. I just bought a professional knife,
Blade, you mean? Or
a hangito.
oh, okay. I wasn't what you mean. I mean, we don't buy these. We buy blades.
Yeah, but I
going
didn't
inside.
have
Yeah,
even
yeah, yeah.
the handle, so I bought the whole thing, and I'm using the traditional grip, and I can say I'm comfortable yet, but when I started in the other workshop, it was so painful. I was struggling so much that I was putting so much pressure on my hand. I was so insecure that I was gripping the tool with too much force, and I just ended hurting myself. But right now I'm getting more used to it.
There shouldn't be any stress or strain on your hands at all.
Yeah. Yeah, now I don't get tired or hurt anymore. But at the beginning, it was. It was a disaster when I first changed. Another question I had about pigments. If it's still too early in my carving to justify buying real wood block pigments online, what are some beginner options?
Well, it's dead easy. I know if you haven't got any experience yet, just use watercolor pigments in tubes. They work fine.
Yeah.
They will do the job fine. Just normal tube watercolor pigments. And there's any number of brand names. We would never use those here for two reasons, because they would be way too expensive, the amounts we would use. And second is we don't want to deal with all the additives that are in there. Some of them will be mixed colors, some will have white mixed in to make a tint, but they work fine. And for someone just learning how to do this, you've got your block carved, got some sort of shoe brush ready, watercolor pigment in a tube, put some in a cup, bit of water, brush it on your block, and away you go.
Yeah.
They work fine, and they're not cripplingly expensive, and they're available anywhere on the planet. Watercolors in tubes.
Yeah. With terry, we also use pigment paste. I figure that's more expensive.
Pigment paste. Tell me more about that. What is that?
It's they are bottles of this brand Holbein, and it's concentrated pigment, but it's already in a pasty state.
So halfway between a watercolor tube and
Yeah, you just put some drops of the pigment in your color bowl, add some water, mix it, and it's transparent. It has a very rich color.
And what's it called? What's the product called?
It's pigment paste, and the brand is called Holbein.
And who are the consumers? Who are the people who would normally buy that? Printmakers or watercolorists or?
I really don't know. It's the first time I've seen them and used them, and it was here with Terry, so I don't really know. One thing I've been using in Mexico that it's for color, that it's pretty convenient and it works, I think, fine. That's the way I've been doing homemade prints until now, is with cement pigments, concrete pigments. You mix with when you are building something, a house or something, you want the cement to be colored. They sell you boxes
Of powder.
powder.
What's it made of?
I don't know. It has no ingredients
Okay.
listed,
Then I don't know what to say. I'm sorry.
but it's water soluble. It also is transparent. You can mix your colors. And it's pretty cheap. In Mexico you can buy a kilogram of pigment for around, what would it be, $1.50 American.
Also,
Yeah.
well, you know what it's made of? No idea. I've always been curious. Once a year or so, the newspaper runs a story from India. They have some kind of festival in India where people throw colored powder all over each other. You might have seen this or something. You know?
Yeah, there's pictures.
And there's sacks, and we see these gigantic, like 50-kilogram sacks, all lined up. There's red, there's blue, there's yellow, and people are scooping it and throwing it all over town. I've always thought, what is that stuff? You know, might it be usable for us? One sack would do for the next 100 years. You know.
Yeah.
So maybe this is a similar kind of thing, some industrial pigment, powder that's colored. So that's a couple of things on I'm curious about this. Yeah, this is a new one. Maybe that's what the Holbein people are buying and selling us for 1,000 times more money or something.
Water it down.
Yeah.
They are asking if rice paste is available in art craft stores. Maybe, but it's easy to make. The nori?
Here in Japan, it's everywhere. But I don't know where are they talking about?
I believe.
I know in Canada, when I first started out 30 years ago, I got it from the Chinese grocery store. The Chinese grocery store always had a little shelf where you could buy a calligraphy brush and stuff like this, and the black sumi ink. And the Chinese grocery stores all had this. They were a little, I don't know, I can't draw very well here. It was a little plastic tube that looked like this. Am I on camera here?
Yes.
It was a plastic tube about like that. And there were a couple of brand names on it. Yamato, the word Japan, or Diamond or something. And they were filled with this white creamy paste. And it wasn't real rice paste. It's not real starch because that will go smelly. But it's a commercial product that does exactly the perfect job for this. And, and that's available pretty much anywhere. It was at that time. I'm sure it still is. I don't think you have to go to a specifically art shop because it's just a stationary type product. You know? And it works really, really well. That's the stuff we use in our print party room here. We don't buy it in smaller packages, we buy it in bigger tubs. And you see, and Yamabe-san's place, he's got those big plastic bags to show. It's the same stuff. It's the commercial Yamato Nori. He's not mixing rice every morning like they used to do, right? He's got that big plastic bag full of stuff in it. Dirt cheap.
In Mexico, I buy a bag of rice starch and cook my own nori.
I have mixed feelings about that. And when you actually work with real rice or real wheat, carbohydrates, and make a thin paste out of it, it comes on the block really nicely and smoothly. It really does the job really well. But I'm nervous about a couple of things. You're actually putting, really lots of good food into the paper. And I'm thinking down the line, when it gets to a bit moldy and the bugs are looking for stuff to eat, we've already got the glue in there from the gelatin. Now you're adding a bunch of nice rice in there, the carbohydrates. And it just seems to me like we're making a beautiful recipe for mold food down the line, And this stuff we're using now, it's some kind of polymer plastic stuff, and it's also got preservative in it. So I'm thinking, this may be totally wrong, but I'm thinking that using this kind of artificial paste instead of the real rice paste may actually help us down the line with preservation, in that it's not really suitable food for things like mold or...
Well, there was a tip that my teachers shared with me in Mexico regarding how to avoid bugs to attack the print when using rice paste. And it was that in the moment you are cooking the rice paste, add a couple of drops of clover essence.
So not formaldehyde or something, nothing dangerous.
No, clover essence.
But will that effect continue down the line after it's dried? I mean, it might have a smell and a fragrance that would keep bugs away while you've got the stuff on your desk to stop it from going moldy that day or the next day.
Yeah.
But will that still have an effect 50 years later when the stuff's in the paper?
That I don't know. How he told me it was the way to avoid bugs attacking the prints, the finished prints.
The finished prints, really?
Yeah.
My guess would have been it's not that. I mean, that thing, the original essence, it has a smell, it has oils that are evaporating. Because the paste, real paste, it's not just what happens 50 years later, it's what happens on your desk first day, second day. Because it goes moldy real fast in summer. I mean, even during the course of a day, you can start to see mold growing on the paste by the end of the day. And we really, really don't want that to be in the paper. So I would have guessed, and I'm just guessing here, that his solution will help it stay mold-free while it's raw and in the cup, because these oils are evaporating. But I don't think that would have an effect down the line years from now.
I will ask him for...
I'm ready to be proved wrong. I don't know.
Yeah, I will ask him for specifications, because I don't remember if that was... if he explained me that much.
The other aspect is, too, we want to avoid, as much as possible, putting a bunch of strange substances into our prints. For the same reason. What's going to happen 10, 20, 30 years down the line? How's it going to affect the colors and stuff? So I want as clean a recipe as possible with a minimum amount of strange stuff going in, And that glue, that polymer plastic, I think is sort of an infinite stuff that will never change. I don't know, it'll just sit there and perform its function of helping the pigment spread out into a smooth texture,
Yeah.
That's the problem. We test this and then we don't know what's going to happen 50 years later. Boom, it goes black or something. We don't know. We don't know.
As far as I can remember, I watched every one of your YouTube videos, but I don't... In your Ito Susumu video, you said you were going to pass on the hair carving technique.
I haven't made a specific video about that yet, but when we did it on Twitch, when I was carving the octopus head, I tried to do it in a way that I did lots of explanation. Here's step 1, here's step 2, here's step 3. And then that made its way into a video that's on YouTube. It's the Twitch highlights from September. We started doing Twitch in August, 18 months ago. And the idea was to do a highlight reel almost every month. And the first Twitch highlight reel, it's on the YouTube channel.
Okay.
If you look for it, I think it's September 2017, and it has about a 20-minute segment of carving the woman's hair on the octopus with me explaining, here we are, this is what you just showed me, step 1, step 2, step 3. So it is out there, but it's not labeled. Here's Dave's, the one you've been all waiting for, how to carve hair. So that's still not done.
Okay.
But the information's out there.
Perfect.
There's no secret here, you know. It's all out there, and there's even I did it on my quote home page back in like 1997 when I first started that little encyclopedia thing. One of the first ones I did because I knew people were interested in this. I did a little photo thing. This is not video. This is a photo essay. How to carve the hair on ukiyo-e prints, and explained carefully that same procedure. And it's been there on my webpage for more than 20 years.
Okay.
And somebody can probably link to it. If you go to thewoodblock.com/encyclopedia/whatever it's called, carving techniques and tips or something, there's one called How to Carve the Hair on Ukiyo-e Prints. So absolutely the information is out there, you know. But yeah, it needs a nice special video, dedicated to that one topic.
Yes.
And yeah, that would get like X million views. Am I out of time already? Have we used up our time? What time is it?
We have 9:15.
9:15. My God, it's taken all that time. Did it get sidetracked by something else in the middle? I don't know. There we are. Okay, what this is, these are from Kubota-san. Those of you who came in late, I've just spent the last few minutes, doing the embossing on this. And these can now go out. As we speak now, Kubota-san is doing the next one, which is the design of the turtles, the one we call Trouble Afoot. And I'm really happy that Kubota-san is back working for us. He works for us for a while, then he gets other jobs. He's really happy working for us because from his point of view, the jobs are relatively simple. They're quite small. They're not large oban prints, and we pay really, really well. No other publisher in town pays anywhere near what we pay for this. A typical job for him, if he does the Great Way for somebody else, he'll get 1,200 yen for it if he's lucky, maybe 1,100 yen. We're paying nearly 3 times that much.
Wow.
So he's just dead. And for a small print like this, if somebody else sent him a small print, it wouldn't even get that 1,200 yen. It would be less. And again, we're paying well over 3 times that for this. And he thinks we're crazy. When I first told him these prices, he thought, is that okay? You know, I think, well, we're trying to make sure that the money from the customers gets shared equitably through the people who make these. And even the carver, Nagao-san, Yumi-san, she carved this, it's now, 3-4 years ago. With this new batch being printed, she gets a residual royalty.
Oh, wow.
And no other publishing company does this. And this is one reason why we don't have enough money to help hire a manager or whatever. I don't need to go there. But the point being, it's the first line of what we do here. The money from the people buying prints goes to the people who are making the damn things. You know? So Yumi-san's going to get, in her next month's check from us, she's going to get a royalty for whatever it is. It might be 100 copies here. She gets about 800 yen per copy. So she's going to get a royalty check of about $800 for the work which she did for us years ago.
Yeah.
And maybe we're stupid. I don't know, but that's the way we do it. You know? Anyway, there we are. I guess we should wrap this up. There's no point in me starting now another job here at 9:20. It's also we have a big party schedule today, and I am the #1 party host today again. We're short-staffed again. It's me and Kawai-san. We're going to take care of it today.
There's just one question over here. What adhesive do you use to stick the template paper to the blocks before carving?
Template paper? You mean the designs, the transfer sheets,
or
whatever?
I believe the transfer sheets.
We talk about this many times. There's two kinds of adhesive we use depending on the level of the job. When I'm pasting something down that has lots of fine lines, the key block transfer, with all guys, good morning, hello. The key block transfer, whenever there's fine lines, I use wood glue. We've seen this on this stream dozens and dozens and dozens of times. It's a normal, I think they're called PVC glues, polyvinyl chloride. It's wood glue. And we don't put it raw on a piece of wood. I moisten the piece of wood first, moisten my fingers, put a bit on, spread it out, and paste it down. And I use a stronger glue there because when we're carving fine lines, if the glue is too weak, after you've carved one side of the line, you're coming back to the other side of the line, the paper sometimes pops off. Danger point, if you put too much of this on, or if you don't moisten the block first, then that glue goes into the wood. And after you've washed it off and you're trying to print, the wood now has a bit of glue inside it, and the pigment doesn't want to go inside. So that can be dangerous.
Yeah.
You've got to know what you're doing. For color blocks, where there's wide areas where the strength is not necessary, we use that same glue, this one, here and here. I've got some in a little cup here. It's Yamato Nori in Japanese. It's just artificial paste, like the mucilage glue we use. I've got another, where is it? Another different container. It comes in different kinds of containers. Where's it? Here. This one, you've seen me use it here.
Nice.
It's called Arabic Yamato, and I guess this is a bit more of a gum Arabic solution. This is the one we used to call mucilage when I was back in school, and in the West it has a triangular top, and you rub the triangular top over your paper and stuff like that. It's available everywhere, and that works really well for color blocks, and it just washes off instantly at the end of the day. It doesn't, you've got no concern about it going down deep into the wood. 1, 2, 3. I gotta get out of here. I gotta get some preparation for today's print parties. I got to get a cup of coffee. I am thirsty, thirsty, thirsty. Thanks for watching, gang. It's a bit of a mixed stream. Sorry about the audio problems partway through, and I'm sorry about my lack of attention. Come inside. Good luck with your stuff, you know. It sounds like you got the right approach. I know lots of people talk about doing this. I want to do this. I want to be a printmaker. I want to be a printmaker. You're making stuff. Like Andrew yesterday. He visited yesterday. He's making stuff, and that's what you got to do to get my attention. Because every day in the email, people talk about what they want to do. Can I be your apprentice? Can I do this? People talk. You're cutting wood.
Yeah.
That's what I want to see. So keep it up, guy. Thanks. You know,
Thank you
it
very
looks
much.
like you're doing really very well. I haven't inspected your prints very carefully, but it looks fine so far. And you're doing I say this because you're just doing exactly the same thing that I did back at the beginning. Just keep going. Make it looks nice. Throw it behind you. Make another one.
Yeah.
And I think that's the real way to succeed in this field. And you seem to have all the right things lined up. Best wishes, sir, for what you're doing.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for taking the time and trouble. It sounds like a talk show here.
It was a pleasure.
Do you know how to sign us off?
Not really.
No, okay. First, it's just over there. It's the button that says stop streaming.
Oh, okay.
Just punch it. Gaga, thanks very much. See you tomorrow. We'll be here same time. I'll be here same time, same station. You can't even handle how to click a button.
Oh.
God.